Hello, Cousin Johnny here. I'd like to shout out to the sponsors of the Buzzin' with Cousin show. Max Fit Meals, 520 Fremont Street, Monterey. Grab and go healthy meals. They're delish. I Heart You Candles and Gifts, 329 Lighthouse in Monterey. Also Tuesday night at Farmers Market, Monterey. That garlic stuff. If you like garlic, you're going to love that garlic stuff. Tuesday at Monterey Farmers Market. And go to thatgarlicstuff.com for more information and more locations. Destination 831. Live streaming. Promote yourself. Promote your business. Destination 831. Go to Facebook, and Kevin Armstead will take care of you. The Sweet Spot on 9 Delfino Place, Carmel Valley, California. Beautiful spot. Sit out there in the sun. You got olive oil. You've got wine tasting. You got sandwiches, baked goods. The Sweet Spot. 9 Delfino Place, Carmel Valley. Thank you, the sponsors, for helping out. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Hello, Cousin Johnny here. How's everybody doing out there? It's a great day here in Monterey. We got a great show planned. And before we start the show, I want to put our hats out or shout out to the 3 courageous people that went out and rescued a gentleman out on the Lover's Point had that incident with that shark. These people went out, they risked their lives, they saved the man. They call them Good Samaritans. He's going to be back in action. He's going to be okay thanks to these 3 people. And let's see, with Amy, Heath, and Paul. You guys are true heroes. Thank you. Okay, let's get this show rolling. So, the Golden State Warriors, 2022 NBA champions. Congratulations. Beautiful. I mean, it was absolutely out of this world. And speaking of the Golden State Warriors, I have a special guest. He's a friend of mine, and he's on the broadcasting crew of the Golden State Warriors. And he's also grew up in Pacific Grove. So he was a local. So let me introduce James Jimbo Kincaid. James, thanks for coming on.
Johnny, thanks for having me back. It's always great to see your face, and just such fond memories that you and I have from working together and everything. So yeah, thank you.
We have some great memories together, and we used to talk sports all day long. In fact,
absolutely.
Our manager had to separate us a couple. You guys
she did.
Go there.
She did, yeah.
And you were on the show about a year ago, and I want to refresh everybody's memory and just let everybody know who you are. And you grew up in Pacific Grove, right?
Absolutely. So I was born at Chomp in Monterey, but grew up most prominently in Pacific Grove. That's where I went to middle school and high school and elementary school and all that. Proud Robert H. Down Otter, so go Otters.
Oh, yeah, go Otters. Yeah.
And, I mean, no matter where I go, Pacific Grove is always what I claim as, my home. It's Monterey, but most specifically Pacific Grove is my home, and it's just there's no place like it on earth. So even when I'm not there, my heart and spirit are always at least partially there. So I love it.
Every time I drive by the restaurant that we worked, it's all different now, all remodeled, but I had the memory of of you and other people that we worked with when I drive by or ride my bike or something. So the memories are still there. And I remember when we worked together, we sometimes it was slow and we would just kind of talk a little bit. And you always had this passion of being in broadcasting. You kept mentioning it, and it was like one of these days, I want to do some broadcasting, and you were thinking of moving to the Bay Area, and well, anyway, you did it. So explain how that. So so we were working together. Then how did you get the break to go to the
It,
to?
well, it was definitely a break, and I mean I gotta say I have such fond memories of working with you and that time, and a time that I think for a lot of people in my situation it might have been a tough time, I guess, because I had graduated from San Francisco State University with my degree in radio and television
Yeah,
broadcasting.
yeah,
Couldn't find a gig. The economy was in a bad way, and so I moved back home to Monterey, and was serving and bartending with you, which was great fun working with you. But I always knew that sort of my calling personally was to try and get into sports broadcasting, and that's what I really wanted to do, and was sort of struggling to find my break. Eventually, did I got my start through a college friend who got me in at KMBR 680, and so I started doing
great
the
station, great station.
absolutely, yeah. So I started doing the graveyard shifts there, and the overnight shifts and editing shifts, and it was through working there for them because the Warriors at the time were broadcast on KMBR. We're on 95.7 The Game now. But at the time we were on KMBR, and it was from editing Warriors highlights actually that my now boss at the Warriors took notice of me and the work that I was doing, and really appreciated how thorough I was and the quality of work that I was putting out for them. And that's why when I go back and I talk to students at SF State or whichever college I go to, I let them know, no matter what job you're doing, always do it to the fullest ability that you can. Don't do anything halfway, because you never know who's paying attention. You never
Never
know
know.
who's listening. And I'm living proof of that, because that's how I got my break really, into the sports broadcasting industry. I had my foot in the door, but working for the Warriors has been the biggest break and the biggest dream come true job of my life. And I don't know if I would have that if I wasn't giving every step of the way my all. And, whether it was, just editing highlights or even doing those graveyard shifts, you really, really never know who
Yeah,
is paying attention.
it was like I remember when we worked. You had it was Cannery Row. It was like anything can happen anytime. So
Anything goes.
it was kind of a slow day, and everybody they call it got phased out, and then it was just you, and
Yep.
the place went crazy. It's just you, and you said, "I got this, cuz I got this." And what did you have? Like 13 tables or
Oh
something?
man. Well, it's funny how sort of far from I remember that story, but I remember one of my first shifts at that place on Cannery Row a few months prior, or however long it was prior, and I hadn't really been fully trained yet, and I found myself in that exact same situation with not the same level of confidence because I didn't really know the lay of the land yet. And I remember vividly our manager being like, "Is there anything I can do to help you?" I was like, "Yeah, can we get somebody else on shift?" And
Yeah.
I remember her vividly saying, "I don't think there's anybody coming to help you."
Oh, great. Yeah, that's good. That's
So it's
like
kind of
going.
sink or swim.
Yeah, that's like going in and saying, "Okay, this is your first fight as a pro." We couldn't find the only guy we could find was Joe Frazier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Or you're a pitcher and you just don't have the best stuff, but you gotta take that 13 run inning and just get through and get
just
through
gotta
it as
get
best
through
you
it.
can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so eventually I did get my break in at KBR, and then through that with the Warriors, and it's been on ever since. And I started with Golden State in 2014, and it's just been such a charmed, blessed run. So I've been fortunate enough to be there for now 4 NBA championship runs, 6 trips to the finals.
Yeah.
So many incredible memories, all in between and everything too. I mean, I've been to China with them and all this great stuff. So it's been a heck of a ride.
A lot of people out there probably want to say, "Do you have a ring?"
I do. I actually have 3
Three
with
rings.
with a 4th on the way when they give them out this fall. So some pretty cool keepsakes. It's funny that you ask about that too, because so my first year with the team was 2014, and I didn't know how long I'd be with them or how long they'd retain my services and
Yeah,
stuff
right.
like that. So I remember I was saving any possible sort of keepsake that I could find that whole year, from giveaways to game notes. I had game notes upon game notes for the longest time. And then it all culminated in that championship win, the first one in 40 years. And I didn't know at that point. I was like, if I get a ring, I certainly didn't assume that they would give all of the employees championship rings. I didn't know how that worked, and sure enough, they did. And I will never forget sort of opening up that box and pulling out the ring with my name on the side of it and stuff like that. It was a pretty cool deal to see my family name on the side of something so special. So that
That
was
is,
definitely a big time emotional moment.
wow.
Didn't do anything on the court to contribute to it, but was happy to be along for the ride.
Well, you're with them. I mean, you're traveling now. You traveled with them, right?
Yeah, not all the time, but I have. So I was in Boston for Game 6 when we clinched this most recent one, and that was just a heck of a surreal time, and just again very special. And no matter what happens beyond this season, the fact that we got this one, I feel like, is an emotional bookend to the story of the 2014-15 core guys, Steph, Clay, Draymond, Andre, and Coach Kerr. No matter what, there's nothing else that I feel like can be said or taken away from those guys. And I really feel like it was just an emphatic sort of period on the end of that sentence, which was this championship, and might win more. I certainly hope we do.
I mean, they got yeah. Seems like they brought the secret weapon in Wiggins. They brought that secret weapon in, and
Yeah, he was tremendous.
that was that was great bringing him on. Now, I was just thinking a couple of years ago they only won like 15 games or something.
Yeah, we a couple years ago we were very injury plagued, and we had the worst record in the NBA. It was quite a juxtaposition from where we had been, certainly from where when I had been working there my first 6 seasons, we'd made the finals every year, and then back to the bottom. But growing up a Warriors fan, it was sort of more in line with the reality that we'd known for the majority of our time, right?
This is going to probably, me as a fan, this is probably the sweetest one that I think, my opinion, yeah.
I put it right up there. I mean, they're all special in their own way, but I put this one right up there with the first one because I feel like it relates back so much to the one in 2014.
What did you, when you went to Boston, what did you think of all those banners? About 18 banners.
It was impressive. Look, the TD Garden, their fans, how they present their history, which of course the Celtics organization is so rich in its history. It was pretty awe-inspiring, I have to say, and I do have to give credit to the TD Garden, the Celtics fans. There is something powerful about watching that fan base all file into the arena. You just see a sea of green. It was pretty powerful visual, I must say, and they are very, very passionate basketball and sports fans, and you could definitely hear it in the arena. And I met some nice people there that when I was there in Boston. So hats off to them on a great season.
Yeah, they're gonna be good. What about that parquet floor?
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. How does it look for next year? The squad.
I mean, I'm not able to comment on anything in terms of moves or anything of that nature. But again, I feel like that we sort of reestablished who we are and planted our flag yet again. I mean, world champions. I think that, with the core and whoever else we have running out there, I'll take my chances, and I trust the leadership from the top, which starts with ownership and on down to Bob Myers and Coach Kerr and everything like that. Yeah. So I'm very bullish on the future of the Golden State Warriors, and I just you take a look at people used to give the New York Yankees grief and George Steinbrenner grief and stuff like that, but never underestimate and never sort of overlook or fail to give flowers to an owner that likes to win, because that to me is arguably the most important position in any sport, is if your owner is a competitor and wants to win above lining his own pocket. And I think that's what the Warriors have.
I think you're absolutely right about that. And that parade was something else. I mean, that was crazy.
It was super fun. First one in San Francisco for me, so that was really cool to see that go down. And I loved all of the ones in Oakland, but it was a cool different flavor in San Francisco this time.
I'm glad to call the Golden State Warriors, and there's still a lot of Oakland fans. It's all just Bay Area. I mean, they're Bay Area.
The Bays team, absolutely, and yeah, exactly. They really are the Bays team, and still embracing everything about Oakland and the surrounding Bay Area and San Francisco and everything like that. So it was a very fitting celebration. I was blessed to be a part of the parade. I was riding with Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole this time around, and that was a lot of fun. Jordan Poole had some super soakers on his float that he was spraying the crowd with, which on a hot day was very nice, and I was happy to get a little bit of some of that going on as well. So it was a super fun party. Just the vibe was amazing.
It looked out of this world. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, I can't believe how many people were there. Yeah. That's really great, and congratulations again on just everything that
Oh, thank you.
Thing. Now, you have another passion, and I think we discussed that a couple times when we worked together. You're a big wrestling fan.
I am.
You've always been a big wrestling fan. Yeah, we mentioned it a couple times when we worked together, and you're also an announcer for a wrestling organization, right? A pro wrestling organization.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, pro wrestling is one of my big time passions. I love it. To me, it is a sort of sports presented soap opera in a sense. And, when my dad asked me, what is it about pro wrestling that still appeals to you? And the best way I can describe it is oh, yes. It's like Mil Mascaras, I think you got there, Johnny. That's awesome.
I got one of the glasses. I'm the only guy that's got the glasses on, yeah.
The luchador with the glasses. I love it.
All right, but yeah.
My
you
best
listen to me, James Kincaid. You listen to me. Yeah.
I love it. The best way I can describe why pro wrestling is because you're guaranteed to get a game 7 every time. Because since it is scripted, they can bake in all the sports drama that a game 7 or a tie game in the bottom of the ninth can offer you, or an overtime game, and you get to watch it play out. And the performers are so phenomenally talented. And yes, we all know it's predetermined and everything like that, but so's a movie. And nobody's going into Top Gun Maverick and says, well, Tom Cruise isn't really a fighter pilot. Who cares? It's the illusion. It's letting yourself get swept away with it. And so for me to be a play-by-play commentator now for a few different pro wrestling companies, and being able to be a part of that soundtrack to help people sort of get swept away and suspend their disbelief it's a tremendous honor and a lot of fun for me.
Now, when I watch it, I mean, I give those athletes, I mean, they are top-notch, tip-top condition, acrobatics. I mean, you got a 300-pounder that's doing a backflip. I mean, come on right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, they are phenomenal athletes, phenomenal performers, and they're great storytellers. And they have to improv, they do stuff on the fly, they have to listen to the audience and react off of that all to sort of tell this great story. And so, I mean, I think that they are still underrated for how talented and amazing they are. And I love being a part of it, and getting to hang around with them and learn from them and everything like that has been great. So I do commentary for promotion up here in San Francisco called West Coast Pro Wrestling. I do commentary for a TV show pro wrestling called Championship Wrestling, and that airs out of the Hollywood area, but airs all over the country. Memphis and all these different places. And there's some other companies I do as well that have now been sort of desiring my services, which is very humbling in of itself. So I say, sort of a rip off the old show Paladin, have Mike, will travel. Yeah. And that's kind of my mantra right now. So I love being a part of it.
Let's say in the Bay Area, where do they have the match? Like, let's say somebody wanted to go.
So West Coast Pro Wrestling, we operate mostly out of South San Francisco. It's a place called the State Room. But actually, for anyone that's watching right now, and this is very apropos timing for me being on here with you, so if you're going to be in the Bay Area, July 8th, Friday, July 8th, we're actually going to be right by the San Francisco Zoo coming out of the United Irish Cultural Center. Okay, we're doing that venue for the very first time, and I did a walkthrough of the venue with the promoter and everything. It's a beautiful building. It's going to be one of our biggest shows to date. So, check out West Coast Pro Wrestling on Eventbrite. The event is called Cruel Summer, and it's going to be one of our really, really biggest, best shows to go to. So check out West Coast Pro Wrestling Friday, July 8th. In San Francisco at the United Irish Cultural Center. And I hope to see some of you there. Come up and say hi if you are. If you were watching Buzzin' with Cousin and inspired you to buy a ticket, please come say hello to me. I'll be there calling the action.
Any listeners out there, if you you want to take a ride to the Bay Area, maybe you want to spend a couple days or one day at the Bay Area and catch a wrestling show, or if you live out there, a couple listeners are from that area, go check it out. It's fun. It reminds me, it's a melodrama. You know what I mean?
It absolutely is.
The guys tied to the railroad tracks and the train.
Yeah, 100%. Dudley Do-Right's going to come rescue.
All of a sudden, the guy comes and with an axe and chops the rope.
Absolutely.
Off.
Yeah, it's their classic morality plays and athletic displays. And West Coast Pro Wrestling, they put on phenomenal shows. So yes, if you are in the Bay Area, be sure to check it out. If you're ever in SoCal, Championship Wrestling, we air mostly, or do our TV tapings now mostly out of the Irvine Improv, which is a really cool venue as well. Comedy legends have gone through there, and now they're playing host to us with pro wrestling and Championship Wrestling. So lots of different places you can see me for sure.
Well, you're busy.
I'm a busy guy.
You're busy. I appreciate you spending some time with me, James. I know you got to get going, and I just want to thank you for coming on. It's always great, to see you. And I always think about you and I together working, and we're going to have to go to an Original Joe's, like you said. And
yes, anytime. And I have such fond memories, and this is always great for me just to chat with you. It's like old times.
When you come to Monterey, make sure you give me a call, and we'll go somewhere and have a nice cocktail or a nice cold beer somewhere. They got
that sounds great to me.
A couple of nice little breweries around. So what I want to do is I'm gonna sign off, and James is gonna sign off. But I got about a 24-second little segment of James and his partner there, Elisa, and we're gonna play it. So James, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And have a great day. And I'm gonna play this now. And here we go.
Never my favorite ride. I certainly wouldn't want to be on that one. Once again, just sick.
Oh, defending his position, though, is Aramis.
Oh! That was majestic.
Certainly was, James.
Unbelievable. Aramis, the Musketeer, all for one for all. Both down you go.
All for one for all. Thank you, James Kincaid, Jimbo Kincaid, for a local that's doing good in the Bay Area. Congratulations, Golden State Warriors. So, Cousin Johnny signing off. We'll see you next week for another show at 1 o'clock. And if you want, go on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. Everybody have a great day. And